Do a few final touches on some of this text. We're going to make sure that this is spaced out like this. I hope you've already done that, but I want to see if you follow along and see if this is the same thing you did with your text. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find that text all the way down here at the bottom. And remember, what are we trying to add to make that, that work? We're trying to add padding. So I'm going to just add some padding, and I'm going to make it padding 1.5 rem. And so I did that. Now we've got a little space here. We got space there. The logo itself, let's add a little space on that logo. Where is the logo? Where's the logo? It's right here. So you can actually add padding on logos or margins. So let's do this. Let's go style equals margin 1 rem. Now let's see if we push there. Oh, we got a lot of space there. Now let's do 0.5. And you notice that it's putting that space on all sides. But notice it's kind of left aligned there. So what we could do is do 0.5 and 0. Now left and right, it has no space, but a little space below here. Okay, we've got that text. It's looking fine. Now let's put a little bit of space between these icons here, and we're going to say of the whole TD, the box that those are held in, we're going to create a style equals padding 1.5 rem. And so here's what I want you to see. This text right here, this code right here, these icons are held inside of this TD box. So I'm adding that style with the padding just to that box. So it pushes everything in because these are right aligned. Let's go on ahead and let's take that right align off of the TD like that, and let's add it into our style and say text align, because technically code is text, would be right. And let's take a look at what that does. It's probably not going to change it very much. I need that to be a semicolon. So we get down here and we see that it looks the same as it did before. It still doesn't look like this, but that's what we're working on. Since we have text align is right, what would it look like if we did center? So it's going to center it inside the box, which is roughly 50% of this right here. It's probably a little bit less than 50%, probably a little bit more like this. So it's giving it space equal distance on each side. So we're going to go for right, which matches what we have here. And then on each of these ahrefs, we're going to, and by the way, I want to point out, we put a hash in here as kind of a placeholder. And that way we can go in and replace that later with Facebook or what have you. All right, so let's do style equals, we're doing padding. Padding, and we'll say 1.5 rem. And then I'm going to take all of this style and I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it right after this quote and that hash. There, I'm going to paste it again. And when I get done and it reloads, you notice I got a lot of space there. Doesn't match this. So let's make it, instead of 1.5, let's make it 1 rem. Now when it reloads, You're going to see it looks a lot more like this, okay? Now let's do this text and get them in the right appearance. Let's make this font size. This is the expiration date, 0.7 rem. And let's make the font weight bold and the text align right. All right, let's see if that matches more what that looks like. It's a little smaller. Why is it not bold? Font weight has a T at the end. So you'll notice that when I do that and we scroll back down, now the font is bold. It's right aligned. I must have made that text smaller than this, which is why it's 2 lines here and 1 line there. Let's now make this bold and not underlined. That's an interesting one. How do we make a link not underlined? First, we're going to make it bold. Font weight, T at the end of weight, is bold. And we'll notice that it gets bold, but it's still underlined. All right, so how do I make it not underlined? Here's a new one. Text decoration, none. Okay, so the decoration on this text is currently underlined, but we're telling it to take that underline away and have no text decoration. Now we have our button with just text that's not underlined. But how do I make these corners rounded? That is called a border hyphen radius. And I'm going to make it 0.8 rem. Let's see what that does. That gives me a nice small but pronounced. That's a bit big. Let's make it 0.5 rem. There it looks a little bit more rectangular. Let's give it a 0.8 padding. Let's increase that padding a little bit, make it a little bit taller. That looks perfect. In fact, I bet money that those are matching style by style. Right. Next thing I need to do is I need to add a white border around, a border and a white background. All right, so all this content, this image, this text, and this text, this button, this text, and this expiration is all inside of a TD that is, inside of a table that is inside of a TD. So what I want to do is go to the very top and I want to look for this image. And underneath the word smoother ride, there you go. Well, we've got some padding, but let's go on ahead and let's give this TD, because what we're trying to do is the box on the outside, we're trying to create a border on it. So I want to say border, I want it to be 3 pixels. I want it to be, and this is one of the few places where I still use pixels, I want it to have a dashed line, and then I want it to be the same color as that blue right there. And if I remember that blue, I can scroll down to find it. That blue is this right here. It's 0048 BA. And so I'm going to create a hash color or a hexadecimal color and then do that right there. And now we've got a dashed border. But the problem is that dashed border is going all the way up against the edge. That must not be where I want that dashed border. I want the dashed border to be all the way up against this blue bar. So I'm going to grab that border, and instead I'm going to put that border on the table itself. So I'm going to put a style on the table, and I'm going to put that border right there. Now let's take a quick look and see how that works. Perfect. It's all on the outside. And now the last thing we got to do is create a white background inside this table. So we've got to go background color, and we'll put hash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Fs, and that makes the background of this coupon white. Okay, what about that curved border? Let's give it a border radius of 1 rem. Once that reads into the code, and now you see we've got a rounded corner on the outside there and there. The last thing I need to do is I need to find that expiration date, which is right here, and put some padding on it. Now we put 1 rem of padding on that expiration date. We scroll down, and now it's nice and comfy inside the coupon. All right, that looks to be about all for that. And in the next video, we'll do a little bit of review, and we'll talk about what I would do next, what the next things I would normally have to do for a coupon email like this, and other things that you might want to add to finish up your project to make this your own. All right, finish up this, grab all these changes and make them on your email. Oh, we also have to do this image. So I'll do that in the next video, and we'll talk about all the other things you could do in the last video. See you then.